Welcome everybody back to the Racing Club. Hope you guys are doing wonderful. And today I'm going to be replacing all the Formula 1 drivers with a bunch of rookies. Create more buzz in the silly season. And first on my list is going to be the Formula 1 2019 World Constructors Champions Mercedes. And I think they're going to sign Nick de Vries as well as Nikita Mazepin. Nick de Vries, a very great racing driver, currently races Formula E and also races the World Endurance Championship LMP2 class. Currently 9th in the LMP2 class and 13th in the Formula E class after 5 races and 4 races respectively. Joining him at Mercedes to being his wingman, I think it's going to be Nikita Mazepin. Mazepin is a very good driver, finished 3rd in the F3 Asian Championship this year, 18th in the Formula 2 last year, gathering 11 points. That's not that good, but that's why I say I'll put him as the wingman. But if you look at his year before that in 2018, he's managed to get 2nd place in the GP3 as well as 4 race wins over there. So yeah, he does have what it takes to drive the Mercedes. But will he have what it takes to lead and be the good wingman? So for Ferrari, it's an easy combination personally. I think it's going to be Mick Schumacher and Callum Ilott, the most experienced junior driver pairing they could get. Both races in Formula 2 last year. And last year, Mick Schumacher finished 12th in the championship as well as a race win and 1 podium, and that's being the race win. But if you just look at his years prior, 2018, 5th at Macau, 1st at the Formula 3 European Championship. He's won the MRF, he came 3rd in the MRF Championship, came 2nd in the Italian F4 and 2nd in the ADAC Formula 4 Championship. So I would say that's a pretty good resume you got if you make Schumacher. Just with last year wanting to wipe that completely off the slate, except for the race win, which was pretty insane. I remember that. I was at Hungary. And joining him is going to be Callum Ilott, a very good racing driver himself. 6th at Macau last year, 11th in the FIA Formula 2 Championship, actually beating Mick. Can you guys believe it? With the GP3 in the year before that, he actually came 3rd. So, not a bad resume either, and beating Mick Schumacher last season puts him and Mick Schumacher as my 2 top drivers to race for the Ferrari outfit. So, up next is Red Bull, and you wouldn't believe all the people I had popping into my head driving the iconic Red Bull colors. But I ended up going with the drivers who I think suit the brand the best and the racing style the best, and just who I think needs to be in F1. First of all, the number 1 driver, the guy who's going to fight for the championship but ultimately lose it to a Ferrari or Mercedes, is going to be Nick Cassidy. He's going to be the top dog at Red Bull, and yeah, he is currently a Formula E test driver for Envision Virgin Racing and races the Asian Le Mans series at the moment. But last year he won the Super Formula and came 2nd in the Super GT, which personally I think is pretty good. And the year prior he came 2nd in the Super GT as well as a Super GT Championship and 2nd place in the Super Formula last year as well. So yeah, Nick Cassidy deserves to be an F1. If I was on a Red Bull team, I would pick him up immediately. Again, I'm not Red Bull because I kind of like Albon, but kick out Verstappen. I'm an Albon fan. Woo! So, Philip Ang will be joining him at Red Bull for this fantasy season. He's a former Porsche Supercar champion, a former DTM race winner. This guy, really successful driver, worked with Red Bull in the virtual Grand Prix series, so yeah, that's why I kind of got the connection over there. That's the only reason I chose him, just because he's a good driver, a good second driver to join Nick Cassidy at Red Bull. For my McLaren partnership was pretty hard choice, but I ended up going with, as well as Super Formula debutant this year, Sergio Seti Camara. Seti Camara has managed 2 race wins last year in the Formula 2. He's a McLaren test driver last year, AlphaTauri test driver this year, and Red Bull test driver, but I still decided to put him in the McLaren because my Red Bull and AlphaTauri seats are full, and I just thought, if not, why not? But out of his 2 years in F2, he came 6th and 4th, so that's why I think that's a pretty decent result for a driver to get himself into F1. You know, he has talent, he has pace, but it's now to see if he can put it all together. Marcus Armstrong will be joining him at McLaren because Armstrong, very good driver once again, very talented, not really that much in the junior programs. He used to be a Ferrari junior driver if I'm correct, but I don't think he is anymore. But yeah, a very good driver. Came second in the Toyota Racing Series last year, second in the F3 Championship last year, finished 8th in Macau, as an Italian F4 Championship to his name. A very successful driver, very excited to see what he can do in Formula 2 this year, but he's going to be driving in my fantasy F1 grid. Up next is the Renault boys, and this was the easiest choice to make. As you guys saw on Instagram lately, Renault talking highly about their junior drivers and their test drivers, and that's why I'll put Guan Yu Zhou in as my number 1 driver at Renault, just because he's more experienced. Came 7th last year in the F2 Championship, which is pretty insane for a rookie. I'm very glad to see what he did, but he's also got some experience, finishing 2nd in the Italian F4, and is a proven Formula 3 race winner in the FIA Formula 3 European Championship, taking 2 wins in 2018. That's not too bad actually, eh? He'll be joined by Christian Lundgaard. Lundgaard is a driver who's raced F3 and F2 over the last few years. Last year finished in 6th place in the F3 Championship, and also drove for Trident 1 race in the F2 Championship. Well, actually 2, because it was 1 weekend. He also competed in the Asian F3 Winter Series, but he did not classify over there. But he is on my Red Bull Junior, well, my Renault Junior team, who's going to be driving for my Fantasy Red Junior team, Renault. Up next, we've got AlphaTauri, and we've got a pretty another easy combination to take. We just took the Carlin F2 boys, who are both Red Bull Junior drivers, and then just shoved them into the Red AlphaTauri team. So it's a pretty interesting fit here, because we have Gian Rivolo, finished 3rd in the FIA F3 last year, 2 race wins, a pretty good driver, 2 successful seasons, as well as 1 in the Toyota Racing Series in 2016, finishing in 2nd, with a few lackluster performances in between, but still a very consistent career. And I just think he'd be pretty good in the Red Bull Junior team or AlphaTauri in my fantasy league. He'll be joined by Yuki Tsunoda, who's only been racing cars since 2016, starting with the Japanese F3. He's a Japanese F4 champion actually, as well as raced in the TRS this year, finishing 4th, 11th at Macau, 4th in the Formula Europe Open Championship, and then the FIA F3 last year, finishing 9th, as well as getting a race win. So yeah, that's not too bad. He actually won at Monza in the sprint race. But yeah, let's just move on. Artem Markelov will be up next on the list. He's going to be racing as my number 1 driver at Racing Point. So sorry, Ocheka, you're losing your seat over there to this young man. He's been racing in the F2 Championship since 2014, when it was GP2 he made his debut. Came close to winning it in 2017 in the FIA F2 Championship, as well as finishing 5th in 2018. starting at the Super Formula but finishing at the F2 last year, coming back once again. He finished 16th in the championship, but only competed in 6 races for 2 different teams. But still a very good driver, Artem Markelov. I'll join him up with Luca Ghiotto. Ghiotto also a very experienced driver. As he raced last year alone, he raced in the FIA F2 and the FIA World Endurance Championship. This year he's set to compete in the Intercontinental GT Championship with Team Aston Martin. But I'd really like to see what he would do in an F1 car, a Racing Point in particular. See him next to Markelov. 2 great drivers, former teammates for Russian time, back together for the F1 seat this time. Robert Shwartzman is going to be my number 1 driver at Alfa Romeo. He's the the F3 champion of last year. Still has a lot to learn and can't just skip F2 without working on his racecraft. That's why I put Mick Schumacher and Callum Eilert as my Ferrari drivers and Robert Shwartzman only as my Alfa Romeo driver. But like I said, he's got 3 wins from last year, 1 championship. He's won the TRS championship in 2018, finished 9th in the FIA Formula 3 European Championship. And yeah, that's a pretty great result and pretty great resume for Robert Shwartzman. We've got Arthur Leclerc up next. And Arthur Leclerc, 3 short seasons in racing, I guess, but still a Formula E test driver for Rocket Venturi Racing. He's finished last year in the ADAC Formula 4 Championship in 3rd place, which is personally not too bad, but like the only reason I actually have him in this team is because of his brother Charles Leclerc. He's going to have a pretty good word with Ferrari getting Arthur into the seat, so he'll be occupying the Ferrari seat at Alfa Romeo. And then we've got Dakota Dickinson to be my number 1 driver at Haas. An American driver for an American team sounds pretty good to me. Dickinson last year won the FIA F3 Americans Championship, as well as the year prior he won the FIA US F4 Championship, which is a pretty solid result. But yeah, I don't have much to say about him as well because he's not been that productive. He's not raced that long. But Louis Delatraz is a man I can talk a lot about. Formula Renault 2.0 champion. He's raced in the F2 since 2017. He's working with Haas as a test driver for this year, so I decided, if not, why not get him into the team. Use him as my Haas 2nd driver. And up next, last but not least, is the Williams boys, and this is an easy choice to make. I've got Dan Ticktum, who's a Williams test driver, won Macau twice, came 2nd in the FIA F3 Championship, a bit of a bad attitude, known for that. And Jack Aiken, you all know Jack Aiken also works as a test driver for Williams this year. So yeah, like I said, I don't have much to say about him either. Last year finished 5th in the F2 with Campos. He's managed to finish 2nd in GP3 in 2017. He's a Formula 4, he's a Euro Cup Formula Renault champion, Formula Renault Alps champion, as well as a Pro Mazda Winterfest champion. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, share and subscribe, guys. Hope you guys like my new vlog. Hope you guys like my room, because this is my room, it's got, see, we got some racing posters in the background now to get some more pizzazz. And my Colin sign, I'm a big Colin fan, so I painted Colin on my wall. But hope you guys like, share, subscribe. Please go follow me on Instagram at KingLonga07, as well as the Racing Club 7 on Instagram. Go follow us on Twitter at the Racing Club 7. And yeah, hope you guys have a wonderful time. Cheers.